Meditation was a technique created so long ago that we do not have it recorded in history. And these practices were given at a very specific time to very specific people, and then they were replicated as time wore on. And eventually, a practice came out of it. And any spiritual teaching is really at the highest level supposed to be given in the moment to the person spontaneously. And now, whereas there can be commonalities and consistencies between what we suggest and what people may suggest, meditation is one of those things that was given at the need of the time. And when I say meditation, I mean meditation practices. And at the time, they were given this. There was a need, just like there is in the world today, and the wisdom of that era give a teaching or give a practice to the era of the time that needed to hear it. Now, that doesn't mean to say that this approach is not effective. It doesn't mean to say that the meditative approach is not useful this day and age. It is, but as time evolves, as people evolve, as minds evolve, so too does the actual capacity for one to understand, the general capacity for one to understand. When I say for one to understand, I mean, for example, if I was to explain algebra to a 2-year-old, they wouldn't understand, most likely, you see? So our capacity to understand, the expansiveness or the peripherals of our mind, it seems to grow as does the era in which we find ourselves. Not only that, but people are more ready and ripe to hear different things at different times. So it just makes sense that as evolution grows, so too does the capacity we have to comprehend something. So too does the capacity we have to actually convey something. So what you find is today, we're still doing things that we did thousands and thousands of years ago. And I'm not saying that we should not do these things. I'm saying they need to be adapted. So when I say to not meditate, I don't really mean to not meditate. The purpose of what I'm sharing with you right now is actually to help you understand the essence of meditation. But in order to help you understand the essence of meditation, you first need to understand what it is that you're doing when you're sitting there in your practice, closing your eyes, sitting comfortably with your legs crossed, repeating a mantra, following the breath. Why is it that you're doing that? If you don't know, or your teacher doesn't know why you're doing that and can't give you an adequate answer, you shouldn't be listening to them or yourself. You see? So what we need is understanding. Meditation is an understanding. It's an understanding of the nature of our mind. And when we understand that the nature of our mind is happiness itself, and that it is not limited, that is meditation. Once you understand that, you're just in meditation. Now, the wisdom in the old practices, they say, sit here for long enough, repeat this word, follow this thing, focus on this thing for long enough. They're not saying this directly, but this is the implications of what the technique will do. You will sit there for long enough that you will begin to forget that you are temporary, limited, and finite. And in forgetting what you are, in forgetting what you're doing, in forgetting why you're doing it, you're in, therefore, meditation. Now, you're doing this in a very natural way, but it's an unconscious way. You're basically going there without knowing you're going there. This is why people can meditate for decades and still feel like they have to go to meditate. Like, I'm going to go and meditate. I'm going to go and sit down and meditate right now. Oh, I need 20 minutes to meditate. Why is that? Why is it that if you've spent that long doing this thing, shouldn't you just be meditating 24/7? Of course not, because you have to, the experience of meditation has to be accompanied with understanding. And once we understand meditation, I mean, to think of meditating is redundant. I'm already meditating. You're already meditating. Meditation is the nature of your mind. It's the nature of experience. So when I say the nature of experience, it's what experience is naturally minus the belief in being temporary, limited, and finite. And we can be in meditation all the time simply by not being in the belief in being temporary, limited, and finite. So I have 2 suggestions for you. The first suggestion is going to be this. If you want something to do, if your mind still says, yes, okay, but I still want something to do, I'm going to recommend this. Don't do anything. Sit down wherever you go to sit down anyway, as often as you can, and do nothing for as long as it takes for you to forget that you were ever doing something. That's it. That's what you're going to do. That's the first thing, right? This is a 2025 meditation. You're going to sit there and do nothing for as long as it takes for you to forget that you were doing something. And what you'll notice is with time, when your eyes are closed and you're completely absorbing, you're going to absorb into absolute being. Because the minute that you've forgotten the world and what you're doing and all these things, you will naturally reside in the natural condition of what you are, which is just pure being. Now, once you notice that, you'll start to notice that day to day. You'll start to notice it here, notice it there, and say, oh my God, it's actually, I didn't notice it in certain times. You notice it as the nature of your mind. It's the nature of your experience. So you no longer start to be a separate self doing a meditation. You're now meditation doing the separate self. You see, you're doing now the separate self. Your natural condition is meditation. Now you're doing the separate self, rather than your natural condition is the separate self and you're doing a meditation. So this is the goal to head towards. Now, the next thing I'm going to suggest is understanding. Accompany this first non-practice, non-doing, with this understanding. The understanding is that in this moment, there is a seeming witness to your experience. You've probably all listening to this video right now, you've heard of the witness before. Now, the witness is, I'm probably speaking to people who've heard this. This is why I'm going from this level. When we're at the witness, we don't want to witness experience anymore. We want to go a step further than that, because the witness is still in duality. It still believes to some degree there is some separation. For as long as there is separation in experience, it will, when we're in a being, so to speak, there will be things in experience that will trigger the trauma of separation, which will then make us interact again like a separate self, therefore taking us away, so to speak, from meditation, from peace, from happiness. So what we want to do is see this. And now this is going to be the next thing I'm going to recommend, along with watching every other one of my videos and probably joining my community where I can actually help you further. But provisionally, if you're not ready for that, just do this. So you want to essentially, this is an understanding now. I'm not telling you to really do something here. The understanding is very simple. Notice that there is an experiencer to your experience. And then notice that there is a experience you're having. Now, the Buddhist approach, the typical approach that we usually get to is that I am the witness to experience. I am the passive witness. Experience is happening and I am this witness. We want to see now that and that's a perfectly legitimate thing to see, by the way. It's a very necessary step. We just need to emigrate from that. We need to evolve from that, which basically means that we need to see that the I that is experiencing is not different from the is that is being experienced. So I am experiencing this. I am experiencing that. The this or the that, it means existence. When we say, what is this? What is that? This is this. This is that. We use the words that, pointing to something that is. In other words, something that exists. When we use the words I am pointing to something that is. The me that is, the I that exists. In both instances, whether we're referring to the world or whether we're referring to the one that is experiencing the world, in both cases, when we refer to ourself or the world, we're referring to existence, to something that fundamentally is. For example, you right now have the sense that you exist. If you didn't exist, you could not comprehend what I'm saying. You would not be there in order to hear anything or understand anything. If the world wasn't there, well, nothing would be there. You would not even be able to claim that there was something there, even if you didn't know what that thing was. Now, the thing we have to see, this is your job, accompanied with this non-practice, is accompanied with this understanding to contemplate. You need to see that the isness of the world, and the amness of yourself are the same reality. That there is not a separate I that exists separately from a world that exists, that the witness is the thing that is witnessed. So there is no separation between what you are and what that is. That is the crux. That's the thing to contemplate. Am I is the existence of myself separate from the existence of the world? And you want to start with those two very simple things. Knowing that you exist, and knowing the world exists. Start from there. I hope this video was helpful. I have a free community. The link's in the description. I go through these meditations every single week and give, well, as much guidance as I possibly can anyway, all in the community. Have an amazing day, guys. Take care.